All right, everybody, what is going on? Good afternoon. And now things start to get a little more fun because we've got some edge rushers here that could realistically end up in the Seahawks crosshairs. These are a couple of players that have a chance of being available at 32, like a realistic chance. Maybe you could argue some of the guys we talked about in the last video have a long shot chance, I guess. But to me, now we're getting into stuff that is really worth paying attention to. And obviously, the prospects are not as good, but that doesn't mean they're not going to be valuable. So let's start with Cashius Howell of the Texas A&M Aggies. 22 years old when the season starts, and this is a mixed bag here. So he's kind of small. I mean, for a typical 3-4 stand-up edge, he's got enough weight. 253 is fine. He is kind of short, which isn't always a bad thing, don't get me wrong. But when you compare his weight to what Mike McDonald seems to prefer, it's not exactly what you're looking for. And yeah, this might be disqualifying. I'll just go ahead and say it. I know it's just arm length, but this is as bad as it gets. 30 and a quarter. This is 0th percentile, if that's a word. I don't know if that's a word, but he's got incredibly short arms. This may be just completely canceling out anything good we can say about him. He's also got small hands, I guess. Tested pretty good. His 40 was excellent, sub 4.5, 1.58 10-yard split, which is great. So he's got the speed and quickness, but not a lot of explosion. His jumps were not good, especially for a guy who's smaller. 40th percentile for this guy is not cutting it. Now, most of the big boards have him in the first. ESPN has him in the mid-second. The aggregate has him in the late first. So there's certainly a chance that he's going to be there around pick 32. He's had a good run of production in college. Last year, 11 and a half sacks, 6 passes defensed, 41 pressures, 81.2. The year before that, he actually had a higher PFF grade, less overall production, but still really good. So he's been productive at the college level. We can say that. So the draw of Howell is pretty simple. He's got bend and he's got first step quickness. So he can get the outside, he can get the edge. He is what you look for in a speed rusher in the NFL all day. He's got some legitimate pass rush moves as well. He isn't just a pure speed guy. He does have the ability to whip some stuff out at a blocker to beat him with skill. He's also got the speed to chase down plays from the backside. He's going to be one of the faster edges in the NFL when he's in there. He's a high effort player as well for the Aggies. And I think he's got a decent amount of power and strength. It's not over the top great because he's not a heavier guy, but for a 250 pounder, he does have a good amount of power and strength. But yeah, the arm length jumps off the page here. This is like a huge problem. This is a glaring weakness, and he's going to have such issues getting his hands to the right points that he needs to get them to when he's trying to engage with blockers that it's possible there's just not really going to be anything he can do. He doesn't always string his moves together coherently, and he's going to have to get really good at that stuff to make up for something like his short arms. He's not yet all there as a run defender either. He's probably he's got the traits, I think, in some ways to be a good run defender, but right now he's a little bit lost, and he can get pushed around a little bit. When he's trying to hold his ground on the edge, you can push him back. So there's some pretty significant problems here. I don't know if he can overcome it. So it's really frustrating because that quickness, that first step quickness and bend is awesome. His speed is great, but I don't know, man. This might be too much. Like Ruben Bain, at least he has power. At least you look at him and you're like, oh, this could be like the defensive end version of Aaron Donald or somebody like that. Cashius Howell is more like I don't I got big concerns. He may not even really be an NFL player with arm length like that. Like that's possible. So I'm gonna take a shot and say early second rounder. I'm gonna put him in that range And mostly it's because this draft is bad, but I'm way more concerned about this than I was with Ruben Bain. And Ruben Bain had it bad, but this is something else. I know it's just not even 3/4 of an inch, but that's a problem in this context. Okay, so that's Howell. One more guy for this video, TJ Parker. He is the last of the first round projected edges right now. Clemson, 21 years old. Pretty good size, 6'4", 263 pounds, so a little bit bigger than a guy like Howell. Little bit more in line with what I think McDonald looks for. Decently long arms, not pythons or anything like that, but his arms are okay. Hands, pretty small for whatever it is we care about that. Given the fact that he's a bigger guy, he tested pretty well. 4.68 is not good normally, but it's pretty good for a 263 guy, but he's not a great athlete. He did have nice 10-yard split, though, so that's a positive. Almost sub 1.6. Vert was okay. Broad was pretty good. Again, he's a bigger guy. He's more of a power guy, so honestly, the numbers are fine. And or I should say, half the big boards have him in the first. CBS and the Draft Network have him in the second, and Walter actually has him in the third. They really don't like him. Aggregate puts him in the back end of the first, and this is going to be one of my targets. I can tell you right now, this is going to be a guy that I'm really pulled towards. 2024, he was incredible. 11 sacks, 6 forced fumbles, 51 pressures, 19 and a half tackles for loss. 2025, he backslid, did not have as nearly as good of a year. Still a lot of pressure, still a good player, but you saw the superstar potential here with TJ Parker, I think. He is a ferocious player, wins with pure power, got a lot of pop, got a lot of strength. I like his personality. I like the way that he plays. He's got great pass rush moves. He's got legitimate moves that he can put on a blocker. He's an excellent run defender. He's going to be able to hold the edge great, I think, at the next level. He's also a really good block shedder. He's somebody who can work his way through blockers. He uses his hands really well. Great hands. He's a good athlete for his size. That's the thing to understand here. Yeah, he doesn't stack up with like James Pierce Jr., but he's bigger than a guy like that. And he does actually have some cover skills. His change of direction stuff is pretty good. He can, at the very least, handle zone drops, I think. And I will say that everybody's going to have their own take on whether or not he's a fit for a stand-up role in a 3-4. I think he can do it. I believe that he'll be okay as a stand-up edge, especially for Mike McDonald. But there are going to be teams out there that like the speed guys. And if you want a speed edge, Parker's probably not what you're looking for. His production did dip pretty hard in 2025, and anybody who wants to be concerned about that is not wrong. He's not really going to cover a ton of space because he doesn't have great speed or quickness. He's not going to be somebody that really flies around. He still needs to advance himself more as a rusher because he's going to have to use those pass rush skills to overcome the fact that he doesn't really have the zip that the better edge rushers in this league have. But I'm going to just go ahead and say it right now. This is somebody that I'm very intrigued by. It strikes me as a Mike McDonald kind of edge. Not the fastest guy in the world, not winning with speed, but he's got size, he's got power, he's got strength. This could be like a DeMarcus Lawrence kind of guy. It kind of feels like a potential heir apparent. And maybe even a little bit better than that. Remember, DeMarcus Lawrence was a second-round pick, and I don't believe that he ever had a season like this in college. But TJ Parker is definitely intriguing to me. He's becoming one of my favorite guys we could get in the first round. Obviously, McDonald needs to make the decision whether or not Parker works in his defense, but I think he does. Unlike Keldrick Falk, who I think is maybe a little too big, Parker, I think, works. This could be like an heir apparent to D-Law. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. He reminds me of DeMarcus Lawrence a little bit in the general profile. He's really good against the run like D-Law, and I can see it. So if we get to our pick at number 32 and TJ Parker's there, even though I've said before that I don't really love the idea of a first-round edge in this circumstance because whoever we get is unlikely to make a big impact, I would certainly make an exception for TJ Parker because I really like him. I think he's a good fit, and I could see him making an impact in his first season. And if he doesn't, he's going to be 21 years old when the season starts. Who cares? It's not the end of the world. So I'll put him in the top 20, and maybe I'll regret that, but I'm going to put him in the top 20 and not look back. And I'm going to say that he is going to be something pretty notable in this league if he finds the right place. All right, I'm going to go and get on out of here. I'll make another video later today if there's something else to talk about, but that should be good for now. Everyone have a good rest of your day. Go Hawks, and see you guys soon.